Clan, and welcome to a little news segment I'm going to introduce in the channel. Right now, this is a working title. This is called The Warriors Non-Gaming Geek Out Zone, where this is not going to be gaming related whatsoever, and I'm basically going to talk about geeky stuff that really no one else cares about but me. Yeah, or various other geeky related stuff, and this is where I'm going to also hold little movie talks as well, because a while ago, I stopped doing movie reviews a while ago because really, movies aren't my thing. I mostly only talked about the Marvel ones, so from now on, anytime when I talk about a particular movie or anything, this is going to be the wee segment I'm going to do every now and then. I don't know how often I'll do this, but I already have two planned, and this is the first one. And the first one is, we're going to be talking about a particular film I just saw today, and this is basically a little short, quick review, hopefully, of Hooked on a Feeling. If you can't guess, here's my little quickie review and little thoughts on Guardians of the Galaxy. Let's dive into this, shall we? Okay, firstly, this is going to be completely spoiler free because I don't want to spoil this right now. This only came out yesterday, so I kind of want to keep this as spoiler free as possible. But firstly, I'm going to say this right now, I love this film. This film was awesome. I'm a big Marvel Cinematic Universe fan. I have all of the Marvel movies. Avengers is probably hands down probably one of my favourite movies of all time just because of how well it was done. And I'm really excited for Avengers 2. And I'm going to be honest, when I heard about I had honestly didn't know that much about this particular team, the Guardians of the Galaxy. I'm not a big comic book geek. I don't know every nook and cranny of the Marvel-verse. I think I've heard them in passing, but the Guardians of the Galaxy are the most common thing I heard about them was that they're the B team. They're the team you call if the Avengers are busy. And when I first heard of this was getting made into a movie, first thing that came to mind was, well, DC, look, you do want to put Wonder Woman in a film? Here's a talking fucking raccoon. That was the first thing that popped into my head. I'm sorry, I couldn't help but make that little joke there. But yeah, first time I saw it, I was pumped. I'm excited for any of the Marvel movies. I was like, oh, this looks pretty damn fucking cool. And I was really excited. I only watched the first trailer. Well, I think I only watched the first two trailers. I didn't watch any of the clips. I didn't read any reviews on it. I didn't do anything besides that because I will go and see a Marvel movie. And also, this was my first IMAX film I ever saw, so I'll give my little opinion on my IMAX as well. But yeah, so when I first heard about this film, I was excited. I love the Marvel Cinematic Universe. And firstly, I'm going to say this right now. If you haven't seen Guardians of the Galaxy already, and you're still debating on it right now, if you like my opinion, here it is right now. It's fucking worth it. It is an awesome film. I had an absolute blast watching it. I laughed out loud so many times during some of the funny moments. This movie is just this is like the best way to describe it. Not in a bad way. It's Avengers Zero. It has everything that made Avengers good, but still not as good as that. It is enjoyable. I had an absolute blast with it. Not only was the acting, majority of the acting very well done, the script writing was absolutely fantastic. It definitely had the classic Marvel feel to it, the Marvel Cinematic Universe at least. The introduction of the characters was well done. The soundtrack, the soundtrack was phenomenal. Not only hooked on a feeling, dun 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 dun. I love that song, by the way. But it had a lot of other cheesy 80s songs in it, and it's absolutely brilliant. Everyone suited the thing absolutely brilliantly, and I absolutely loved it. As for the characters, I love Star-Lord. Chris Pratt did an absolutely fantastic job as Star-Lord. He made me laugh so much. Like literally the introduction of his character at one point at the start of the film is just bloody hilarious. This is minor spoiler, but basically puts his headphones and starts dancing his way through an ancient tomb. It's bloody hilarious, and I absolutely loved it. Gamora as well was really interesting. I think her name's Zoe Zadell. I'm horrible with actors' names, sorry, but yeah. Gamora was introduced, and she's badass. She's awesome. She kicks ass, and she's definitely a fucking do not fuck with her. I'll say that right now. Rocket and Groot, I love them. I love Rocket and Groot, especially Rocket. He was bloody hilarious. He's voiced from the guy from The Hangover, I think Bradley Cooper. I'm not 100% certain, but he did a fantastic job. And yeah, DC, you're not well. It took you like what? How long to put a fucking get Wonder Woman in a film, and look at these Marvel. They've already got a fucking raccoon in their phase 2. So suck it. I loved Rocket. He was hilarious. He was funny as heck. Groot was awesome. He was adorable. And I'm going to be honest, even though he only has really one line in the entire film, well, two technically, one line is, I am Groot. Vin Diesel is the master of making 3 words sound like something more. Vin Diesel is awesome. He needs to be doing me a voice work, by the way. But he did an awesome job as Groot, even though he only did a couple of lines. He did a fantastic job. So well done, Vin Diesel, and well done, Bradley Cooper, for voicing those two. They made me laugh so many times, especially Rocket Raccoon. Rocket Raccoon is awesome. I love him. And the final one, Drax the Destroyer. I like him. Didn't do much in this film. I'm going to be honest. Drax was the only character who I didn't really enjoy that much. He's played by the professional wrestler Dave Bautista. I know of him from wrestling. Firstly, I'm going to say this. He's probably the weakest part of the team, I've got to be honest. Not the action sequences. The action sequence with him are actually pretty phenomenal. Dave Bautista actually does know how to do a good action sequence. He's not a great actor, though. I'm sorry. He kind of doesn't make it believable with this. The whole thing with Drax is he wants revenge on the main big bad of the Guardians of the Galaxy movie because he killed his family. And Batista is not a great actor. Think Triple H and Blade Trinity. He's not bad, but he's not good either. So he's somewhere in the middle. And I think that if they do keep him in that role, he will eventually grow to it and maybe get better as it. But I liked some parts of it. Drax the Destroyer was pretty damn awesome at some point, especially the action sequence. I'm not going to lie, he gave me a good chuckle every now and then as well. Some of the stuff he says is kind of hilarious. Also, I love the design of him. Like they could have gone CG with him, but they painted them up, added the little tribal markings on him. It's absolutely fantastic. I love that. I absolutely love the design of Drax. That's the entire team. I love the entire team. Drax was probably my least favourite, but I did enjoy him. Another thing I had to say was a bit of a disappointment with this film is the villain. I can't even remember his name. That shows how much I can't remember. He's I don't know, I think it begins with an R or something. I only saw the film literally maybe 4 hours ago as of recording this video, and I can't remember the guy's name because he was not that interesting. He's a Kree, if memory serves me. Is he a Kree or... Yeah, the Kree are the blue guys, right? Knowing much I know about my Marvel history. But he's a Kree with a big hammer, and I have seen him in other animated Marvel stuff, but I also can't remember his name. I think he's like the judge or something. I don't know, but he has a big hammer, and he's working for Thanos, who we actually get to see in this film. There's a bit of a spoiler, but nothing major in my opinion. I won't spoil what he does, but we actually do get to see Thanos in this. I'm not going to say how long he's on, but we do get to see him, which is pretty awesome. And really, all this bad guy was the same problem I had with quite a few of the bad guys in some of the DC films, and also some of the Marvel films. Even the Marvel films are at fault. The bad guy's there, but he's sort of like the second in command that you don't really care about. That you just have to go through and get to the main big bad, which is Thanos. So yeah, he was interesting, but he wasn't really interesting enough in my opinion. Don't get me wrong, I like the design of him. Marvel did a really good job in the design of this character, and he really, really fucking nailed it in my opinion. And I give props to the actor who did do a good job, but the villain just was not that interesting in my opinion. Just in my opinion. He was probably the weakest part of the entire film, but at the same time, and another thing, at the same time, he still felt like he was a threat, just not the threat. Another absolute thing I got to praise this film is the action. Oh, the action was phenomenal. This film had a great pacing in my opinion. It had some great character moments, building the team, letting you get to know them, introduce them, and then it just bam right into an action sequence after action sequence. It's absolutely phenomenal, especially the end one, which I won't spoil what it is. You've probably seen bits and glimpses of it in trailers, but even the trailers did a good job of not spoiling the entire thing. But it does an excellent job, and this is how you do an intergalactic climax. It was phenomenal, and I loved every minute of it. I was like, oh yeah, come on, you can do it. Oh, I loved it. I absolutely loved the action sequences in this film. I don't think that is the only things I could nitpick about this entire film. You can't tell I love this film. The only things I could nitpick were Dave Bautista is not a good actor. He needs more work, in my opinion. So he may look buff and badass, but he needs to get a couple of acting lessons, in my opinion. But I'm not saying I don't want him recast. He does do a good job as this character. I just think he needs a bit more practice with the acting. He needs more acting lessons to get that presence right. In my opinion, at least, I don't want him to recast Batista because he does actually pull the role off well, but he just needs to get it better, in my opinion. But that's and there it is. The villain of the film is just not that interesting. He doesn't feel that big of a threat. He does look badass and he does have a bit of an intimidating thing to him. But yeah, he didn't realize. In fact, I was more terrified of Nebula, who's played by Amy Pond from Doctor Who, whose name I honestly can't remember. I'm sorry, I'm horrible with actors and actresses' names. But she was a really badass character in this one. She wasn't in the film as much as I would have liked her. I feel as though they're building her up, in my opinion. I think she is going to be probably featured in more Marvel films, in my opinion. But they really gave you a good taste of her character. She did have a big action sequence, but I can't say when it is because it's a bit of a spoiler. But she did have a good... I was more interested in Nebula than I was the big main bad, the Judge. But overall, I got to admit, Nebula, I want to see more of her. She did it. Amy Pond did an excellent job. I'm so sorry if she ever watches this. I cannot remember your name. I do apologise. I'm horrible with names. So yeah, Nebula was awesome. And the only last nitpick I can have to say about this film is the fact that while it is called Guardians of the Galaxy, it is mostly about Star-Lord. It's mostly about Chris Pratt. It's mostly about Star-Lord. It's mostly his story, which is a bit of a disappointment. I was hoping to get more out of this film than that, but mostly it's about Star-Lord. He is the leader of the team in a way, but that doesn't mean Gamora, Groot, Rocket and Drax all get their moments to shine. They do all get their moments to shine, but the film is majority about Star-Lord now, and also a little bit more about Gamora. Those are the two ones this film is about. I also like the fact that they kind of are pushing a love interest thing with this one, but they didn't flat out go all the way with it, which I'm very glad they didn't. Just because two people, can a male and a female not be on a team, super team, and not like end up in bed with each other? Could they not just maybe have this little flirtation thing and just be good friends? Is that so hard to believe? Like, hopefully Marvel will do that. But the ones that suffer the most, in my opinion, are definitely Rocket, Groot and Drax. Though they didn't really get a defining thing about their character put in this one. They did have moments in that they did shine, and you get a little glimpse about their history, but you don't learn much more about them than what's in the film. And you don't get a lot. They really don't. They have some character growth, but there's still more that could be done, in my opinion. But I absolutely love this film, and of course I'll talk briefly about the end credit scene because everyone has to. The end credit scene, I think, I'm saying this right now, you don't have to see it, but if you do see it, it will give all you Marvel geeks, all you Marvel geeks who love your little subtle references. Yous will love the end credit scene. I'm saying this right now. Yous will love it. I loved it, and I'm not a huge Marvel geek. So yeah, that's my... I would definitely say that this one end credit sequence isn't an essential must-see. So if you don't want to stay to the end of the credits, just go away. You don't have to see it as. But if you're a Marvel geek and you've done it with other ones, definitely see it and you'll like the little reference at the end. I'll definitely say that. But closing thoughts, I love this film. I absolutely enjoyed it. There hasn't been a Marvel cinematic movie that I haven't enjoyed in some way, shape or form. But I definitely have to say that this one is better than some of the sequels that have came out. Like, it is better than Thor 2 in my opinion, and it is better than Iron Man 3. This is probably, in my opinion, the definitive movie of the Marvel Phase 2 cinematic universe. They definitely upped the ante here, and I hope that this is the start of a Guardians of the Galaxy series. I want to see Guardians of the Galaxy 2, and I want to see Guardians of the Galaxy 3, and I want to see the Guardians of the Galaxy 4, and I want each film to be... the first film focused on Star-Lord. I want the next film to focus on Groot and Rocket, or Drax, or Gamora. I want to focus on those characters next because they need the most character development. Now, Star-Lord got a great bit of character development in this. I really did love it. I really enjoyed it. I'm going to say this right now, however. If you didn't like the Marvel Cinematic Universe, don't fucking see this film. You will hate it. It is not an Oscar-winning film. It's a purely comic book geek film, and it's for the fans. And I loved every bloody minute of this film. And I love the soundtrack. I definitely have to say the soundtrack is awesome. I loved it. And I can't wait to see what happens towards the end of the Marvel Phase 2, and I cannot wait for the next Marvel Phase 2 movie, because this movie has got me pumped, and I want to see more. I want more. Oh, I love that, and if you can't tell, I definitely recommend seeing it, especially if you are a Marvel Cinematic fanboy or fangirl and you love it. This, in my opinion, is definitely the best of the Phase 2 Marvelverse movies so far. I definitely can't wait to see what they do. Ant-Man has got a lot to live up to, and so does the next film after that. So yeah, I definitely say this is probably the best of the Phase 2. Don't get me wrong, I still like Iron Man 3, I still like Thor 2, and I still like Captain America 2 as well. I still like those films, but in my opinion, I think this film is definitely the best of the Marvel Phase 2 movies. Now here's my little dig at DC. DC, what you knew? I'm not going to go into too much of a rant here. I just want to say this with quickly dig. DC, look at this film and do this. If you're not going to build up your characters in the next film and with each individual films, do this and you might salvage it. But that's another video that's another topic for another day, shall we say. Anyway, let me know what you thought. Let me know what you thought, clan. Did you enjoy this little new series that I'm probably going to be able to... Right now, still working title, Warriors Non-Gaming Geeky Zone. Something along those lines. That's what I think it was, the WNGGZ. That's what I'll call it, something along those lines. Let me know what you liked about this. Let me know if you enjoyed it. But as I say, I really think I'm going to keep doing this series because I like it. I will try and make sure it's positive as always. But let me give you a little taster with... okay, I think I'll end it here, but the next one of this series will probably be next week, and I think I'm going to have to talk a little bit about, shall we say, the dawn is coming, and the dawn of justice. It's about to get my opinion sorted out there. Thank you for watching. As always, I am Scottish Warrior Net 2, and I'll see you all next time. Ciao for now, and of course, hooked on a feeling. I had to, sorry. Mwah. Hey there, I hope you enjoyed the video. Thank you for watching. If you want to help this channel out in any way, shape or form, you can hop over to my Patreon page and donate a minimum of $1 a month to help towards resources for the channel, licenses, equipment and other resources. And hopefully you will consider at least having a little look at my Patreon page, which is linked in the description. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you all next time.